If your brand belongs in the heart of the yachting world, this is where it happens. Yachting International Radio reaches over 1 million yachting professionals and enthusiasts every month, with 77 million impressions, 220,000 social followers, and 74,000 podcast subscribers. Our hosts are insiders, crew, captains, CEOs, trusted voices shaping the industry. This is targeted, high-impact advertising in a luxury niche. Visit yachtinginternationalradio.com/advertise. Your audience is already listening.
Hi, folks. Top of the morning. It's Captain Liam here. We've got the pleasure of speaking with Claire Hagen again from This Is Odyssey. How are you, Claire?
I'm good, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Wonderful to connect.
Darkness because it's the evening time in the UK.
Yeah, and how's the UK winter coming along?
It's rainy as always, but it's we're used to it now, I guess.
Yeah, well, we're in Seattle at the moment, Modiol and Bridal, and the sun's actually out the last couple of days, which is quite strange. In the middle of winter, we're seeing, yesterday there was like a sail regatta going on, and there was people in the park with old English outfits with like wooden swords. I don't know what you call it, wooden swords and the axes with the fake guards and the helmets. Have you ever seen that?
Like reenactments, like
reenactment.
Yeah. Okay. Oh my God.
It was in the park and it was hilarious. It was like just a bunch of locals doing their thing on a Sunday, and it was like good energy though. But anyway, for those who don't know, Claire, in my opinion, is a #1 digital marketer, wealth of knowledge in AI that targets ultra high net worth individuals. You've had some exceptional success stories, Claire. What's one thing that stood out in your kind of journey in yachting that's really kind of excited you about, having that space?
How the perception that ultra high net worth people are hard to find, because actually, you know where they eat, you know where they sleep, you know where their yachts are, and for a marketeer, that's quite a lot of information, because if you're trying to sell shoes to a mother of 3, and when she wants to buy shoes, and equation of what shoes she might like, and a local store, I mean, it's quite complex actually.
Yeah, understood.
But actually the ultra high net worth thing is easier than people think. It's the creative communications is where us as an industry we kind of fall down on. So I think that's where something that I think, because of my previous experience in hotels, that I've kind of benefited from.
Yeah. Well, I think you've broken a lot of boundaries, because you're not really, from yachting per se. And yachting a lot about privacy and protecting the information, which has its positives because it's the confidentiality. But the negatives I see is people don't have that transparency. It's like someone said the other day to post, why don't we tell the yacht prices straight up more transparently? And it's like, well, that protects these ultra high net worth people, but they don't really care. For them, it's an asset, it's a toy.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think the privacy conversation is now becoming obviously more and more important to target the right people, because, there's a lot more, trolls on the wealth, and, there's a lot more, basically either side, so privacy is a huge thing, #1 concern by family officers last year, and AI is only accelerating that. So me as a marketeer, we know where you eat and where you sleep and where your yachts are, but it's also the careful messaging when you're targeting them so they don't feel like they're being stalked. But that's where I think also big series of very nice communications comes in play. It's all about planning and long-term thinking.
Well, it's also the graphics of it too, the marketing, what you've done. I just saw the image of the 110-meter Project Cosmo with Lursen, in the picture. Was that the Kiel Canal?
The video. So there's a guy who they work in house. He films it, and then I edited it with music, and it's amazing company to work for, Lursen. I've got to say, I'm incredibly lucky. And the projects and build are super inspiring, to the point that, I've got the most easiest job in the world, but also hardest, because they know what they want, and they're very,
But I guess with marketing and digital graphics, it's hard to kind of, someone has an image. Like I really respect more and more the graphics and the designers and the editors these days, because over the last 2 years with Unbridled, we're trying to push this program into chartering. And I found that getting these right graphics are really difficult. Of like 2 days of filming, you might only have a couple of minutes, which gets down to a couple of seconds of an image of a whale jumping. And you're like, well, that was a lot of work to get one picture, and sometimes it's luck, but sometimes it's, it's a lot of work to get the image across and how to present it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think videographers, they've got such a tough job. Like that's something I really admire. Like I'm very much an editor in a dark room and hope the videographer's done his job, because it makes editors a really, really, even really harder job. And also, the lighting and like you said, it's hard to control when you're on a boat as well, because, that weather, as you know, is hard to predict on a shoot.
Yeah, actually, like some of the images I see of like, and then this is what I don't want to say too much negative, but I mean, I think yachting is an old boys club, a lot of it, when they talk about brokerage houses and things like that. And the Captain's Chat is designed to be a transparent industry, format for me to talk about things. But with this old boys club, without being kind of sexually orientated, I find they lack the foresight to kind of really dive into the marketing objectives of their companies, and they stick to the old ways of kind of keeping information to themselves and meet the owners, or meet, like you're saying, boat shows. Things are dropping in boat shows, viewings and dealings in boat shows. So where do you see the future in 0 to 5 years? Do you see it's more graphic based with independent viewings?
Well, this is also why, so there's a few predictions I have, which is obviously, with AI, what do you believe? Is it actually for sale? Is it actually that broker you're speaking to with the deep fakes? That I think in person is going to be more important than ever. So whether that helps boat show performance in terms of footfall is another thing. But I think that we have to create something that means that more people can enjoy yachting, but without, having to maybe go through a brokerage house at first, because it is a very sales driven, model, right? And also walking through a boat with a broker is very different than enjoying time on a boat and really being sold the yachting dream. So this is why, obviously, one of my new projects is the Armada Club, because I think it solves a lot of them problems.
Yeah. Well, when I looked at it, we're talking about the Armada Club here, which is a yacht membership in a sense, but we're redefining exclusivity. And the Armada Club isn't just about access to yachts. It's about giving them the opportunity to engage their mindset in the experience. Would that be correct?
Yeah. So,
and that's unique.
The one thing, the feedback that I have from the people who could afford yachting but have never done it, was that the idea of committing to a charter when you don't even know if your son likes sleeping on water, unless, you can actually go on a charter and experience that. Because imagine if your wife is a bit, prone to seasickness, or actually she has this thing in her mind, or even husband, where, they think they're like this when actually a yacht is mostly like this, because they see this impression. So to actually have the opportunity to, as a low commitment, but also be KYC and verified, to pay a membership to say, look, you can have access to these yachts at port and at anchor for dinner, on the basis, obviously, a captain is available. And he said, okay, we're willing to have, welcome you for dinner. This is what our chef's got. This is what he likes to cook. Or what provisions we maybe have from a previous charter. Not that they're always having leftovers, but one captain said to me he ordered so much cheese it could fill 6 months, because they said so, and then they didn't touch the cheese, and the crew were eating cheese for God knows, but, could make a nice taster menu for someone who just wants some privacy for dinner. And then it's an introduction to yachting.
Kind of like a stepping stone into the experience and the mindset, where you're docked safely, or you might even go for a lunch cruise. And what ports are we talking about? London, we're talking about major ports, Monaco.
So we're starting at Monaco and the south of France, because like an Uber model, if someone went to go and order an Uber and there was no Ubers available, it would have failed. So we have to keep the availability for the members and the yachts to not feel too pressured. So it's got to be a trial and error from each side in terms of, we have a gap in our calendar of 4 days. Let's try opening for dinner or wellness. So the other thing is that, some of the best spas in the world are available on yachts, not always used, and you could book 3 hours. We did price comparison, and, a 4-season spa is $1,000 per head on some of these things.
Yeah.
So, and that's low maintenance for the crew. And the other side of it is that, as not having to do the beds after a charter or, not that overnight stay is actually a lot less hassle for owners and crew, but they still get the tip because the tip is obviously super important.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
absolutely. I'm doing a check-in Tuesday tomorrow about the tips, actually. There's already a lot of engagement. People saying, don't talk about it, Captain. I'm like, well, you know what? They don't want to talk about it because I like the interaction. So when you talk about marketing, you do talk about engagement and interaction with virality and clients, but the Armada Club with ultra high net worth individuals, I'm sure it's different. You're trying to touch into the exclusivity of it. So what are your kind of go-tos for how to get past the broker, how to get past those, reaching those ultra high net worth with the Armada Club?
So basically there is a brokership partnership because we understand. So we're not cutting any brokers out. If anything, the brokers that I've spoke to welcome it because they need a lead generator. So obviously if charter brokers are concerned about a charter yacht that they might, they're like, right, what's the best way is to test it for dinner, right? So there's the way of charter brokers being easily be able to have access to yachts that are outside a show environment for dinner with the client maybe before they go and commit to a week is going to be a benefit. The other side of it is the brokers. Then if there's any leads that come for a week, sale goes to the central agent is a strict rule. I'm not into commission, and I brokers.
Wise lady. Yeah, that's their business.
We make enough on the membership. We'll be fine. We're okay.
Yeah.
We're iTunes to the music industry. We have no interest of making music or making charters.
Oh, beautiful.
Ourselves. That's how I've explained it. We want to be Switzerland in some way, if that's still a way to say.
Geneva. Oh, it's the right way to do it. It's a brutal business. I go through these boat shows and, as a captain, it's tough because I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle of the buying and the selling and the client and the broker and the crew and the owner or the shipyard. So a captain is almost like that Geneva approach. I'm not trying to sell anything here. Can everyone just be happy and get on and just, you know? But I do resonate really 100% with that vision of the Armada Club because all the best engagements we've had, between the yacht and the client, and that's the business I'm in, engaging owners, yacht owners or charter clients to the yacht itself, to that experience with the crew. And sometimes brokers don't let that happen naturally. So the best way I've seen it happen is like you're saying, let's go out for a couple of hours. We pick the client up or go on the dock and we have a lunch and they use some of the water sports. I've had a lot of those over my 25 years career and they've been the best experiences for the clients. And then the clients usually contact you back or they reach out and they say how much they had a good time and then they're interested in chartering for a week. Is the yacht still for sale? So like you're saying, the Armada Club is to give them access to this yachting industry.
Yeah, no, and also the shipyards and designers have actually been really, really positive because how do you get someone, the next owner, to inspire him to build or her to build when you have not seen enough yachts? Because when you see them in a boat show environment, you kind of don't see what the service is like, what the real quality is like of that build. So when you see it in a service environment like dinner, you realize that maybe they haven't thought about how the waitress or crew comes around because obviously they haven't left enough space, or actually the galley is too far away, or there's cushions there because they don't think about the storage when it's not in a perfect boat show moment. So for builders, I think in shipyards it's a good way to see a lot of different builds, and the owners get a free membership putting their yacht in, which has actually been the biggest pull for. I've have owners, reps contacting me and saying yes, because he loves the idea of being able to go on other yachts for dinner just to see what it's like there.
Absolutely.
So that has been a huge, they almost care more about that than obviously.
Yeah. Really, and then there's revenue generating, there's lead generation. Yeah, of course.
But I think that idea is, they're always a curiosity, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And I think it'll improve a lot of well-being for crew, because I think, as service, is more on an open side, then crew will be like, you know what? I'm bloody good at my job. So look, there's a level, I think, that will more appreciation, basically.
Absolutely. I mean, it's, and if you've ever got any questions, I can help on both sides, because I see it. The crew are like, why are we doing this for 4 hours? I'm like, because this is great, because it showcases our skill set. It showcases our yachts for the owners. And I've done events in Boston, and we've had 200 or 300 people on board the yacht with compliance, and we've got approvals. Yeah. But some of those events, the crew love the most, because it's not 7 or 20 days of charter. It's not grinding long hours. It's like we go in, we do a dinner, we go out. So we talk about storytelling versus selling. Let's jump into marketing a bit. I think the Armada Club is going to be a great example of this. How do you engage or is storytelling becoming the new sales pitch?
Yeah,
I see a lot more short films, a lot more cinematic approaches.
Yeah, I think, there's a sort of, classic, couple on the yacht, and it's all very pretty. But I think
champagne.
And I think storytelling is coming into yachting in a way of more realness, and the crew showing it, and I think there's a really good YouTube channel, NS. He's honestly, some of his yacht walkthrough videos are probably the best.
That? How do you spell that?
NS. He's I'll send you the YouTube.
Okay.
I'll link it so you can. But I know one brokerage house said that he was the biggest lead driver that they ever did in collaboration, and he doesn't go with any yacht, so it's very difficult to book. But his account, you feel it. He did one with Tommy Hilfiger, his yacht, and it was like they were really, like, you could see the actual personality of the crew and the level of detail and the cocktails, and it was just amazing to watch in more of a more high-end documentary style. But his videos are like nearly 2 hours long. But I watched it and I was shocked, even myself, because it feels a bit like work, because obviously But even I was like, oh, okay, I watched quite a lot of this actually, which is amazing. And I think but it takes time. He has 6 videographers, and I'm like, oh my God. But then that's how you get every angle, sort of covered. And like we talked about earlier about, you could do 2 minutes, 3 minutes of footage off a 4-day shoot, but that's why you need 6 videographers in his eyes.
Well, I've also thought a lot more about these charter guest videos that we make. Like some of these videos, over my career, 20, 25 years, I've really put a lot of value into it. And last year we had a videographer on board, Marshall, who was just exceptional at capturing the moments. And some of the highlights of the trips is that video, and all the clients want it on their phone. So it's like that last hour when they're leaving, everyone's like, upload, drop it here, airdrop, and everyone leaves with this captured moment. And I always think that's what's selling the image. That's what's selling the product here, is trying to capture those moments. And that's marketing.
Yeah. And I think also having a long-term plan about, from the first touch point to the last, because, if you look at what's happening in the market, with these big private cruise sort of ships, basically trying to sell themselves as the super yacht experience. But their funnels are like hotel e-commerce funnels. And I think that's where the industry needs to up its game. Is like, you can't just say buy now, sell now, charter now. It's like, okay, first introduction is that you show a beautiful thing. Then second is that, you introduce a service level. And it's a very long game that you have to be patient on. Then people go, you know what? I've seen a couple of things about this now. I'm going to book. But it's having that patience in the storytelling, right? Whether it's online advertising, or whether it's, a mix of all these different platforms selling the same, not the same thing, but different things in different ways
it's marketing without mass exposure, if that makes any sense. You're not trying to drown them in the information. You're trying to engage them to engage with you. But, I mean, I think the Armada Club, what's unique about it from my perspective is that it breaks down so many barriers between the yacht crew, the captains, the brokers, and the end user. And that's the problem I find with yachting. Like, we have charter inquiries that have been filtered 5 or 6 people before it comes to me. And then I'm like, the client just wants to know what options he has to cruise in Alaska or Costa Rica. And just after a simple itinerary for 7 days or 5 days, we don't have to drag this out. Let's just give them what they're after, and they can come back and give us the information,
And that was the other feedback, is that the funnel is too long from someone picking up the phone, and there's no other travel arrangement that takes as long as yachting with so much uncertainty. So at least if they know they've tried it, or they've had dinner on board, or they know the crew, that's a lot easier to then obviously convert. And the other thing is the chefs, right? Like, we have a chef's bonus, because obviously chefs are the cog of the engine room as well as the engine room to any yacht. And, it's...
Especially for that experience. The Armada experience is basically short. It's a short engagement.
Yeah, so we are going to put in place bonuses for the chefs, because, with the model that we've got. And also then, the crew benefit is that we are going to try as a model to do the maternity leave for every single crew that is on board any yacht in the Armada Club, which is a big ambition.
Wow. Go girl. Wow. Awesome.
I think with the model, because it's asset light, like I said, with the Uber, Airbnb don't own any homes, don't own any cars. We don't own any yachts. We own access, but we want access to be the best of the best in the industry. And how do we do that? And we look after the crew, we look after the chef, we look after the captain, and then we make sure, if everything goes well, that the leads go to the right central agent, to wherever that yacht is, the right people, because this is the only way this industry is going to keep growing for new people.
Absolutely.
And we need to really, care for people when they want to try it. And I think that's the only way we're going to do it.
Yeah, I understand the vision, because, I mean, I love yachting. I've done it for 25 years and I'm passionate about it, but I have a fear. And my fear is that if we don't change, we lose so many of these opportunities that these ultra high net worth people, you can't grow more land, but you can experience more things on water, if that makes sense.
And we lose a lot of people who are experienced because they want to have a family. So I did a lot of research in this. A lot of yachts, obviously, it's dependent on owner, it's dependent on captain, dependent on health insurance, and maternity leave is not standard. So if we can at least say, look, we'll give you, a bonus, an agreement, a grant to help you do that, and also help you try and transition back into yachting, then I think it's a good thing. So,
absolutely.
Because if you're doing dinners and wellness supports and you've got crew that are experienced and they're wanting to dive back into yachting, then, it makes it much accessible for them to do a shift here and a shift there to support a yacht that's doing dinner. So,
true.
So it really helps. And I think then it gives the well-being and longevity of wanting a career in yachting, and not just being a gap year.
Exactly. Or a vision, I'm going to travel the world on a yacht, and all of a sudden you're in a laundry for 2 years going, that didn't work out. But you're talking about sustainability, I think, which is an important part of yachting, and you talk about exclusivity. I want to dive a little bit into kind of how you think, what we can change from an industry. From a marketing, we talked about boat shows, we talked about obstacles, we talked about lead generation. When I look at, the Four Seasons Yacht Collection, for example, I haven't been on one, but I'm signed up. And every month I get an email from Cecilia to say, hello, Captain Liam, wonderful to engage with you again. How's your holidays? Are you thinking about a trip this season? And they give you options on the itinerary. Why? I feel like Four Seasons are coming closer and closer to yachting, but yachting's not matching that from a global perspective. Is that what you feel?
Yeah, no, but I the brokerage houses have a problem because they don't have the resource. And that's fundamentally to do them follow-up campaigns. I think a lot of the marketing departments have got a tough job anyway, just managing whether it's the brokers or the 50 shoots they've got for sale. And as you know, I said earlier, the charter department is always under-resourced. And I think
under what? Sorry, under
resourced. Like there's not enough
under resourced. Yes.
Yeah. So I think that like we need to get better, hiring more people in them areas, and and also automation, right? Bringing more AI automation into the brokerage houses isn't an infringe of privacies in some way if they do it properly. And it won't take away jobs. Like I think that every brokerage house right now is under-resourced in some way. They just need to be using the resource in a more efficient way. And that means letting technology come in and being empowered to train and everyone's got to train. Everyone has got to learn AI.
Yeah. Full stop. It's full stop. It's even my kids now, 16 and 14, and I just keep pushing. I said, you've got to do more courses. How can I help? Don't worry about the teachers at school. What can we do at home to help you learn more about this? Because this is the future of so many different things.
Absolutely. And it's very much a human and AI discussion, not AI replacing humans, especially in our industry.
Yeah. It just creates seamless. I'm a big believer in a seamless experience or a frictionless experience. And that's where I get passionate about yachting, is to get these clients a frictionless experience from, their phone picking up, seeing an ad, Armada Club, pressing book, 6 o'clock, be there for dinner, phone down, done. That's my vision of yachting. Or book a charter, phone down, done. It's already vetted. It's already a certain standard. It's already, what is expected is there. The same as like an Uber, like you're saying, on a big scale, or an Airbnb. The standards are there. So how do we standardize the Armada Club experience? Through vetted clients and vetted boats.
So my plan is that we're doing the launch in March, which is going to be the pilot scheme. So from March till September, we're trialing on yachts to make them familiar with people coming on for dinner, looking at inspecting, obviously, yachts versus, and obviously the membership board is going to be set up. Because the good thing about Armada Club, because everyone's like, well, where are you going to get these members from? And it's like, well, actually, aviation, art markets, banks, they are dying to get into yachting. They want to partner with yachting, but there is very little way of getting people into yachting without having a very difficult relationship with brokerage houses, because it's very hard for brokerage houses to give them a commission guarantee, because the way a charter and a sale happens, it's very long, right? So from a lot of people that have tried it, they think they've been burnt by their broker because no one called for commission, but that sale might have took another 2 years, or the charter fell through, or whatever, things happen. So the partnership side of it is, because it's a membership, it's easy. We give them 1% from the initial fee, which is straight away. They're really happy. But also it's dinner. So there's less that can go wrong with dinner. They know that they're paying. They can cancel any time. There's no ownership. There's no charter risk. So it's like, look, this is a lot nicer for, complementary industries to work with yachting. But then also, if they do go on, it's fine. That's what we want. We want an ecosystem. So it fits for everyone. So I hope that's fair. Pray I've found the solution in some way.
Well, it sounds like it. It sounds like you're going down the right path. How did the name come up?
For a while.
Yeah, I'm sure you have. How did the name come up? Armada.
Well, Armada, obviously everyone's like, oh, Claire, it's a fleet of boats, obviously Spanish Armada.
Yeah.
But I think that it's also, it's a fleet of boats. And I think that it's very hard to come up with a name. I've got to say, I spent probably more time thinking about the name than anything else. And it drove, everyone has an opinion on the name. But I think it's all about the marketing and the branding, and the name is that people stick with the name. And I think that it's,
I'm not going to say it doesn't matter, but it's, you know what I mean? It's the you build on the name. The name is the name, and then you build the reputation that supports the name.
Yeah. And that's also the big point. And, the yachts and the members, the most important. We're not in a rush. The first 100 are, the whole Gmail story. I don't know if you heard. No. Is this whole thing about the first 50 were his biggest fans to Gmail, and that's what the first 100 is going to be most looked after, and then continuing. We're going to have a very, very looked after, very first customer. It's important.
So I think people with high net worth individuals, they're not buying things, they're buying connections. And the longer we go in this world, is people look for that engagement, that experience, that moment. And to have an access to that moment of yachting and to go on board with your friends for a dinner or a Thanksgiving or just a business meeting for 4 hours or 3 hours and then leave, that's the experience rather than a 7-day moment,
And someone cared about it, someone cared. That's we want to help, have the best dinner. So we've got plans of, A-list musicians on platoons and, collaborations with yachts. We're really going to go for it. And I'm very excited. It's going to be.
Oh, absolutely. So. What a journey. I'll be seeing you in Monaco then maybe.
Yes, definitely in Monaco. We're definitely going to have a couple of yachts.
So you're kind of launching in March. Will you be at the West Palm Beach Boat Show? Are you going to be the front of this, or are you going to?
Yeah, no, we have a yacht at Palm Beach, so that's good. I mean, no owners rep or captain has said no. Yes, so that's good. So
that's a good start. Now it's time to put their money where their mouth is. Now it's time to say, all right, here's the invoice. Join the club.
Yeah. So I'm basically excited, stressed because we've got so many things to tie up. But I think that, like I said, we're not in a rush. We just want to make it what it should be. If someone cared about the experience of what we're doing and the people we want to bring in, not everyone can join. There's going to be a membership board, and people have got to have the right attitudes as well. There's not going to be parties on yachts like that. It's going to be the right people who have the respect that they experience something that's pretty amazing.
Well, it's what's good about yachting. There's a space for everything, even the below decks. Yeah. There's a space in yachting for that. There's a space for the parties on the boats, and there's a space for, what you're creating is the echelon of high net worth experiences on yachts, which is a lead generator for brokers. It makes perfect sense. Don't know how it hasn't happened yet, and I wish you nothing but success, Claire. I wish you nothing but success. Couldn't happen to a better person. And like you said, when your father says, "Are you still in this boating thing?" You're like, "Yeah, I'm still in. I'm getting in deeper now. I'm getting in deeper now."
Thank you.
All right. Well, in closing, is there anything else you want to leave everyone with, Claire? It's been nothing but a pleasure talking to you as always.
I think that's good. I think it was good. Yeah. I think it's
Armada Club launches in March this year, West Palm Beach Boat Show, and then check out Monaco during the season.
Yeah, and if people want to inquire, they can. The website's live. We're taking all sorts, but I mean, the membership won't be active until September. So the pilot scheme is, people come and try it, and same with the yachts. We're very much making sure we have everything in place, operational app, all sorts. So it's good in that sense. It's good.
All right, Claire. Well, once again, be safe. Wonderful to hear from you again. I wish you nothing but success for the Armada Club and all your wonderful adventures.
Defo. And we'll contact when I've got everything sorted. I'll send everything off to you so you can have a look.
All right, be safe, dear.